Thank you very much, Dr. Deviona, for inviting me to this conference on International Conference on Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences. Um, my topic is soil health for sustainable food production. Brief introduction. My name is Dr. Fahd Rasul. I am serving as an assistant professor in the Department of Agronomy, University of Agriculture, Faisalabad, Pakistan. Pakistan and Indonesia, especially my university, University of Agriculture, Faisalabad, in short is called UAF. We have signed already an MOU with Bogor Agriculture University in the West Java, um, and we receive usually people from the Indonesian embassy in our university, and we have developed several collaborations. So this is a brief idea that our university is already working with Indonesia. Regarding my topic, that it's really on the right corner, you can see that how the earth look like if we take it the soil or the top crust of the soil in hand. It looks like that, and it's very usually very strange that what kind of things are actually living in the soil. It's very diverse actually. So we want to know who lives in the soil and what happens with the soil, what kind of, so there is a huge biodiversity of life is living inside the soil, from fungi, animals, plants, algae, different type of eukaryotes, bacteria are living in the, it's a so till now, uh, from the number of species like vascular plants, about 81% are known, algae or 67% are known, but still fungi and bacteria, most of them they live in the soil, and they have been explored very less, like 5% fungi species which are known, or out of the total, only 5% have been explored. And from the point of view of bacteria, only 10% are known. So most of these fungi and bacteria, they live in the soil, and they have very important role to play in the soil health, which we'll be talking about. So soil test and functionality is very important. Sometimes the standard test, they are showing that the soil is okay, but the soils are actually not functioning in terms of the sustainable crop production. So let's see. And over the time, the soils get degraded. So there is a spiral of soil degradation that is being explored here. There are different reasons, especially in the context of developing countries where the soil is getting degraded. Later, I will show you a map. So the soil health or the soil functionality is basically a function of the three different categories of the soils: the chemical, physical, and biological conditions of the soil. So these all three constitute the soil health. For example, the typical testing, for example, this one is the Cornell University Soil Health Test Assessment, which is showing the the type of test, which can be physical test, the biological test, and the chemical test. For example, the biological test, which include about the roots and organic matter especially, and the chemical tests include pH, phosphorus, potash, and nitrogen contents. So actually the soil testing should mean the soil health testing, not simply the testing, or not only the chemical testing, or not only the physical testing. So usually it should be a soil health test. As you can see in this picture, in this photo, you can see the health comparison that some soils, they have only few root system, or the shallow root system, or very minute root system, or which is not networked. In on the right hand, you can see a huge bunch of different root systems which are scattered. So this is the difference of the soil functionality. Many of the soil tests, even the farmers or the end user, they are not interpreting it very well. So it's important to let them know that what the soil test information means, what that means for in terms of soil management, soil processes, and soil health test indicators. There are different impacts that have been found in various of in many of our experiments, like that we did extensive tillage, like many people or the farmers in Pakistan, especially in the Punjab province, many people are doing extensive tillage, but over the time, as they are getting aware with the soil health test, so they are doing various things that can save the life in the soil. Earlier, they used to burn even the residues, but now we have legislation and people are not burning their crop residues. So soil biota can be can survive better if we do the stratification in the soils. So earthworms, microarthropods, insects, nematodes, they can survive in the soil. You might be knowing about mycorrhizal network. This is kind of magic. It's a magical thing. This is a fungus, but it has a good connectivity in the soil, and this is independent of the host. It is not depending on any plant or the host. It's independent, and this mycorrhizal network is basically a fungi, and its hyphae are spread and interlinked in long way, and they can even spread to several miles on the soil, and still they can be interconnected, and they are able to transport food and nutrients from one place to the other place. What these function, for example, these mycorrhizae, this can increase, or the other fungi, they can increase the nutrient uptake, they can suppress pathogens, and they can improve the soil structure, and they can mediate the plants competition between them because they can manage the nutrients and water to some extent. Here you can see in this picture the nitrogen fixing nodules on a cowpea plant. So this is an important indicator how much the soil is healthy. The soil is containing some bacteria which can fix the atmospheric nitrogen through the nodules on the leguminous plants. So the more number of nodules means the more healthy is your soil. Uh, in terms of the supply of food, which is threatened by three major things, the one biggest challenge of today is the climate change. The second is decreasing water supply due to overpumping of aquifers. So that means the underground water is depleting over time. This is a big issue in Pakistan. Might be in Indonesia there would be different issues slightly, and the third one is the soil erosion due to overplowing. These are the major issues that we are coping or dealing with here in Pakistan. And from the climate issues, the majority of the greenhouse gases which are in the atmosphere, the atmospheric concentration of these greenhouse gases, they are gone far above the accepted safe levels. So that is presenting an existential threat to humans. And the pace of this change is increasing at an alarming rate. So this is very dangerous. And increasingly violent extreme weathers, unpredictable weathers due to the humans activity that is causing the climate change. So our task is to reduce those greenhouse gases emissions, which is politically very difficult, and the signs of success are rare, and if implemented that need to be very quick, and otherwise they can cause very serious damage to the environment. So this challenge can be dealt with by removing carbon from the atmosphere and by storing it in the soils. So in order to restore our ecosystem and also to reverse the global warming, so at this time, like global warming is converted to almost like global boiling. The way that this increase is happening, so I would say rather global boiling rather than the global warming. So what we can do, um, we need to have some safe, eco-friendly, cost-effective, and biological solution. So we can think about regenerative agriculture, regenerative or regenerating the land, food, and water security to revive our local economies to deal with this challenge. So ultimately, we have to move towards carbon farming as a solution to these problems and to build up our soil and to manage the soil health as well, which is an indicator of the food production system. So a holistic management of grassland is important. Savory Institute in the USA is working on that, and we are having one savory hub in Pakistan for training of the people for holistic grazing management of the grasslands. Uh, Jungle or forest regeneration is an important thing. By afforestation, we can definitely fix carbon or do the carbon farming. Permaculture is a solution. Biochar is a magical thing that has been very popular these days in Pakistan and other countries. Rock powders, sea mineral supplementation, they are also good. System of rice crop intensification like SRI system, because Indonesia is also growing a lot of rice. Likewise, Pakistan is also growing a lot of rice, especially the basmati rice of Pakistan. The aromatic rice is very famous, which is an export commodity, especially to Europe. Uh, so the carbon farming, the vision is we need to sequester the carbon in the soil. So some of the technologies which we are pursuing here, I have shared, stabilizing the climate and weather patterns. This can be done through the sequestration. We can restore biodiversity and soil health, re-establishing the healthy water cycles, increasing the land fertility, food quality, and productivity, and bringing the sustainable, self-financing local and in, in the developing countries. So, in terms of food security, because now it's a very common term, and like in Pakistan, the Ministry of Agriculture's name has been transformed to the Ministry of Food Security. So food security is a more comprehensive word as a replacement for agriculture. So food security is existing when all people at all time they have physical or economic access to sufficient, safe, nutritious food to meet their dietary needs and food preferences for an active, healthy life. So this is the definition of food security. So in terms of food security, now we see that how we cope with this challenge. So four dimensions of food security: availability is very important, access, stability, and utilization. So from the point of view of healthy soils, which I am trying to advocate today, you can see that in the world, in this world's map, the capturing of the atmospheric carbon through soil regeneration, there is a big potential that soil regeneration can happen by capturing the atmospheric carbon. So the most degraded lands which are found in the subcontinent, Pakistan, India, and highlighted in the red. So Indonesian soils, I guess, is slightly less degraded compared to our soils. So various technologies we have been deploying, like the polycropping can involve different plants or even animals can be deployed in that to restore fertility. For example, we in this on the right side you can see different type of crops can be grown in intercropping. So in this way we can naturally restore the soils. And on the left hand, if you can see that there are some chickens moving around in the maize field. So these chicken will eat insect larvae that could threaten the corn. So these chicken are helping to protect protect the maize plants from different kind of insects, and likewise Those insects are a source of protein, and these chicken can produce healthy eggs or more proteinaceous eggs. So this is a way, two-way that the ecosystem can be restored in this way. So other like carbon farming and these different technologies can improve the soil health, can improve the carbon farming over time. So these are all the things. So thank you very much, Dr. Deviona, again for inviting me and all the participants for listening to me. And I congratulate to all the organizers. Here is my contact. If you have any question, I would be answering that. Thank you very much.